that I'm not being true, but they don't have a clue, 'cause this is me when I cut out all the shallowness and everything I suppress to fit in a small frame, but I won't play your game anymore, so I had to change. Yeah, I shook off all the bad vibes, cut me loose from the pettiness they turned on me, but now I am perfectly free to be me. This is who I am, this is who I am now. No matter what they saying, this is who I am, this is who I am now. I'm gonna let them talk, but I ain't following nobody else. How can I be resentful when I finally respect myself? I shook off all the bad vibes, cut me loose from the pettiness they turned on me, but now I am perfectly free to be me. This is who I am, this is who I am now. No matter what they're saying, this is who I am, this is who I am now.
Three letters in.
Maybe,
And then-
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're carrying
I'm like,
on
I
our
tried to
conversation and
type-
we're live.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so let's bring everybody into the loop here because we need your help. Every morning we have our stand-up call with our office, and it's good to connect with everybody. And we end the 15-minute call with who sang that song. So Marvin, the founder of KW Realty Centers, plays a song, and it's the first to type in. And by the time my brain registers, Jen, like the answers are already in there.
I know. Same. I did that this morning. I was like, I know the song. I know who the artist is. And by the time I processed the name and started typing, there was like 3 people that already had, and I was like, okay, it has to be voice to text. It's the only thing I can come up with, because I was like, there's no way they just type that quickly and know the answer that quickly. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, okay, so here's a question. I think the recent winners are all tuning in with their phone, right? And I'm sitting on my computer. Is it faster? Okay, so here's a question for the worldwide interwebs. Is it faster to type on a keyboard or on a phone? Maybe that's the trick.
See, I would argue that because I've been on my phone every morning.
Okay.
And I find that it's slower because I have to I have to go to the bottom, pull up the chat, which I do before the question or before the song gets played. But then I have to like think, and then the box is really small on my phone, so I have to be like prepared to type really quickly, and there's no like I can't just talk. So I don't know. I don't know, Gary.
I don't know. Either we're really bad at this game, but I don't think we are.
That might be the answer.
I actually don't think we are. There just happens to be others that are perhaps better.
or faster at least. Like maybe it's the thought process getting from like recognition to fingertips that's faster for them. I don't know. Because I mean, sometimes the song's barely started and they've got the answer and I'm like, okay, there's been 2 beats. How do you know what song this is?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. And
all I know
we're
is
not
I don't like
looking,
losing.
I know, and it's a little tougher too because we're not looking for the name of the song. We're looking for the name of the artist. Because we usually know the song, right? It's the artist. A little tougher. Little tougher.
Yeah.
These are,
or you have to filter through, right? It's not this person, is not this person. Okay, it's that
Yeah.
person. That's how my brain works.
Yeah, yeah. So this morning's answer was Nelly, and I had typed in
Mhm.
Flowrider, and I hit enter, and I knew that wasn't right. But what do you do, right? Like it's already
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. See,
Yeah.
I knew it was Nelly like immediately, but by the time I typed it and hit send, three other people had already put Nelly into the thing. I was like, how? I don't understand. That was my fastest response time, and I was still fourth. So,
Wow. Wow.
anyway,
There's a lot on the line too for these. It's Starbucks, the
yeah,
Starbucks card every morning. It's a lot on the
yeah.
line.
I know. I love me some Starbucks.
That's right. I know you do. Yeah. I
I
got one
know.
the other day, and Michelle, my wife, because I got the card sent to me and I'm putting it into my app. Michelle's like, "What are you doing? Where'd you get that from?" I'm like, well, you got to play to win.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it.
This is
Oh man.
this is all about the summer market today. This is important stuff. How to win your music trivia in the morning. These are the important conversations that Jen and I are now having right now. We got to
Yeah,
strategize, Jen. Maybe tomorrow we'll strategize. We'll team up.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got an
yeah.
idea. Okay, no one's listening. I'll keep filling the chat box with a bunch of randomness, and you get the right answer in there. I don't know if that'll work. We'll clog it up.
Nice. Then we'll split the card. I
That's
like
right.
it. I'll buy you a coffee on my way to the office.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. We should probably get on with our show here. We got a little intro to run, and you
Yeah.
and I are going to have a little banter here. So let's do that.
All right.
All right, summer mayhem. What's on your mind? So we thought we'd take a little bit of time because it's been about 3 weeks since we actually had a live stream, and there's lots going on in the real estate market as well as not a lot, depending on where you find yourself and who you're working with, right, Jen? And
Yeah.
we're seeing some really interesting trends in the marketplace. August is typically a slower month. And there's some crazy headlines coming out, Jen. And let's kind of like remember Mythbusters?
Yeah.
Let's do a little myth busting on the
Okay.
fly here. Jen doesn't know I'm going to do this, but we're going to do this. So I don't have the specific numbers or the stats, but here's what I know is we're starting to see, even right across Canada and of course locally here in Toronto where our brokerage is, we're seeing headlines come out of the news, Jen. Toronto real estate sales down from last month. And just imagine what those headlines look like. Sales are slumping. Sales are down compared to last year.
Yeah.
But if I said to you, Jen, someone that has a team that's working incredibly hard for their agents, and of course, you're coaching, 35, 45 agents as well. How's the inventory levels?
Yeah, yeah, it's exactly where my head went. Those my headlines are just brutal. Inventory levels are low, right? I think last week in Newmarket specifically, there was like 90 listings. That's abnormally low. There's normally like a couple hundred, right? And that's in a low inventory market. So of course sales are down. We don't have enough properties to sell for sales to be up. So, the guys that I'm coaching and the teams, when they are listing, they're getting multiple offers. Their listings are selling. Are they carrying as much inventory? No, because they don't have as many people ready to go on the market right now because it's August, right? So little bit of that combined with low inventory, people not quite ready to make a move yet, feeling out what's going to happen in the fall. Now we've got this conversation about what the market's going to look like, what our world is going to look like in the fall, and how that's going to progress, right? So yeah, of course sales are down, right? It's the negative spin that's always a challenge for us because then we start to get people saying, well, it's going to crash, it's going to crash, let's wait for the crash. And that conversation has been coming up for me quite a bit in coaching for people how to handle that conversation, how to navigate it, what to say when our clients are saying that because that we're hearing it more and more as these headlines are starting to show up and you know it's interesting the impact that those media myths can create on the general public. So yeah, I mean, too, Gary, inventory when it's that low, of course sales are down. It's logic.
It's logic. And people
Yeah.
often fail to, okay, here's what people love to do. They read a headline and that's it. right? They don't go and click onto the story or get, read some other stories to validate that one story or get the research, right? They just go on the headline, for instance. And so here's an example. For instance, new Toronto Raptor gets with the Kyle Lowry signing. I can't even say his name, Goran. I can't even. Oh my gosh, can't even say his name. Anyways, new Toronto Raptor. He's from Slovenia, and he gets caught in the middle of a question period. Somebody's interviewing him in his native language, and the question is, what do you think about being traded to Toronto? And all of a sudden, what comes out on the English translation is, well, I have much higher hopes than being in Toronto, or something like that. So all of a sudden, that becomes the narrative, where in actual fact that is not entirely exactly what he meant at all. And now, of course, he's trying to backtrack. But all I saw on Twitter the last couple of days, Jen, was, yeah, we don't care about you either. We don't care about you either. But if you gone and actually read the story and the information that he put out there after, it would have been a completely different story, right? And it's the same with the real estate market, right? We just go after headlines.
Yeah, what a nice welcome for the guy too, right?
I know,
it's like
right?
you just get attacked by the Twitter bots.
Yeah. And and if you talk to any of the other sports writers that know him, that are they love him. He's like a vet, and he always has time for people, and he's just being thrown under the bus all of a sudden. But the last time that this happened, and not to say in 2017 when the market did flatline for us for a little while, it was previous to that, where the narrative got so negative that it did turn into a little spiral. So be careful of what you read. Understand, if you're an agent in there, there are articles that is all about negativity, and that's what sells newspapers. Remember those? and unfortunately, that's what a lot of our buyers and sellers will read, right? Yeah. So you kind of asked it in a rhetorical way, Jen, but one of the best ways to have a conversation around, well, what this market's going to crash. I keep seeing this. I keep reading that. Just go pull out the research, just like you're doing a CMA right there with them, and talk about what those numbers are doing. And as Jen said, if inventory levels are low, what is that going to do for the marketplace? That's why we're seeing less sales, but we're getting, we're going back to more of an aggressive multiple offer situation, and then show them year over year, not just last year, but go back, as we said before, right, Jen, like maybe 5 or even 10 years, and show them, it always kind of dips in August and then back up again in September, October, right?
And it's funny, the conversations I've been having with the agents and the script we've been working on, and even the prep for when they go to those listing appointments or those buyer consults, in case that comes up, because we're seeing it so often now, we're actually preparing for it, is to go back onto, Market Watch or wherever you're going to get your trends from, and pull the report. There's one on there that literally goes back to like 1994, and it shows the trend of the market, the price point and average sales on this graph. And if you just have that with you, and when that seller comes out and says, how do I know when it's the right time to sell, or I want to wait for the crash to take proper advantage of the market, you can take out that report, show it to them, and say, tell me when on this report was the best time for you to buy a house. It was 1994. Right? We can't go backwards, but we haven't gone back really, minus that slight 2017 blip, which was really short-lived for majority of areas. A few got hit a little harder, but most really bounced back, at least plateaued somewhat quickly, right? So when was the best time to make a move? It was in 1994, and then 95, and then 96, and so on and so forth. So like, if you're waiting for a crash, you're basically waiting to get yourself priced out of the market as a buyer. Or as a seller, you may be missing a great opportunity to maximize your returns right now, right? So you can't time a market, but those are some of the challenges we're seeing, and that's a great way to combat it if you're looking for a good script or a good approach to that. And it's been pretty effective so far with our coaching guys. They've had good response to it because it makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's two ways to look at this too. I'm actually working on a video right now, in a sense, that says, don't sell your house. But the spin is there might be other ways to leverage the equity that you already have in your house to go purchase maybe an investment property, or to keep your current house as an investment property, look at something else, right? There's always an opportunity. And the other spin, the flip side is to that, Jen, is now not the best time to sell your house when there's like the least amount of other properties just like yours out there?
100%. I know that one of the agents had a townhouse listed, got like 13 offers on it last week, right? Like some of the guys that have like higher end listings, 2.3, 2.1, like those are getting 20, 30, 40, 50 showings in a week now because there's limited options. And buyers are still trying to get into the market, right? That demand hasn't depreciated that much. So, you know, yeah, you might capitalize more now than maybe when there's 200 listings in September and you're competing against two or three that are similar to you versus now when you have no competition. So, it's all about what makes the most sense strategically for you in the moment. But, what we do know is the market we know is the current market. So
Yeah.
that's usually the best one to make a decision in because we know it. And I totally agree with you. Look at options to pull your equity out, right? Go keep your home as an income property and go buy a different property if that's what you're looking for. Or pull out equity and get a cottage or an income property or whatever you want to do. But there's lots of different creative ways. So this narrative that the market is in a downward spiral or it's crashing or it's going to crash or it's just not true, and it's a little dangerous, right? So yeah, I always I always dislike that media narrative. It's challenging for sure.
Yeah, it really is. It is challenging.
Mhm.
So here's a couple of questions for you. You're, as we said, you're coaching a lot of agents at this moment, you and your team,
Mhm.
and the summer months can kind of be those months where perhaps there's two pieces to this. Don't forget to take time if you're an agent to recharge, right? To rest,
Yeah.
recharge, and come back, and that type of thing. But this is also a really good opportunity just to connect with clients, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what are we doing? How are we connecting with our clients over the summer? Because sometimes it can be hard, and other times it could be, hey, let's go to the park with our dogs together, or our kids together, or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, taking advantage, although our weather's been a little hit and miss this summer, but trying to take advantage of the nice weather, whether it's like organizing an activity, going to an event, or going for walks and things like that. But honestly, even pop buys, right? When you're in the area, just have your list of your clients in your car. And with Top Producer or with Command or with some of those different programs, you can sync it to your phone and you can actually see on the map who's around you, right? So go knock on the door and go say, hey, how's it going? Just in the area, thought I'd pop by. Even better, I was just showing some houses and I thought of you, just wanted to pop in and say hi. How are you? Right? If you can't fit in a longer visit, at least get the pop bys. And now that we can do them again, take advantage of that. And beyond that, it's your care calls, right? If you
Yeah,
can't
hang
get
on.
to see them
I
in
gotta pause you
person.
there for a second. Hang on, because
Okay.
I think the pop by visit is something that we've forgotten about or gotten away from, or maybe
Hmm.
we've never implemented it. And what
Yeah.
Jen's talking about is, just dropping by, almost basically unannounced.
Yeah.
And it's what you can pop by with that I love, right? Have a little gift bag or a treat bag for the kids or the dog or themselves, whatever. And it could be anything from the Starbucks gift cards to you name it. Let your imagination go, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that is so valuable, right? You could have a lot of cool pop by gifts in a little
Yeah.
treat bag or whatever we want to call it.
Whatever you want it to be, you can have them in the car. You can also make it seasonal. I know one of the things on our team that we do in the fall is we pop by and drop off leaf bags, right? So it's just a quick knock on the door. If they're home, great, we get to chat. If not, we leave the little pack of leaf bags with our, Silver Nego logo on it. Sorry we missed you. And we get a call or a text from them when they get home to be like, oh, you came by today, we missed you. Like, let's get together soon or let's chat or whatever that looks like. Same at holiday season, right? Same in the springtime. So you can be strategic about it. You can be completely just random about it, but the point is that you're connecting face to face in person and developing furthering your relationships because the best way to do that is face to face, right?
I've always had an idea with the leaf bags, and I can't wrap my head around the budget as of yet, but maybe it's something that we'll have to work on in the future. I had this idea and I want to see somebody do it, and maybe it's something that we just go out and do. But imagine if you had all the leaf bags that you talked about, whether it's the fall or spring, and we always see them. We go to Canadian Tire, we go to Home Depot, we go to Walmart, we go wherever, and it's all free advertising. You're actually paying to advertise for Home Depot.
Yeah, I know.
How cool.
I know where you're going with this,
right?
and I have to tell you, we have this conversation every year about putting our branding on the bags, and then we don't never do it in time. And so we end up going to Home Depot and grabbing the Home
Yeah.
Depot bags because they usually have the best deal
Yeah.
and delivering them, right? But I honestly, I say it all the time. I totally agree with you. Put your own branding
Oh,
on the
could you
bags.
imagine that huge like Silver Eagle
Yeah.
team branded logo on it?
On like 3 or 4 bags in a row, or even on the same street having multiple, right?
You
It's
pull down
so
that
smart.
street and boom, yeah.
Yeah, it's so smart. You're gonna motivate me to do it this year. So I'm gonna let you know what the budget is, because we say it every single time we do it. We should have branded them. We should have branded
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it gets away from you, right? But
And
you know,
I think it's the last time I looked, which would be a few years ago now. I didn't get the specific numbers, but just to start, it was at least about $3,000, but you're getting like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bags. And, and I think that'd be really, really cool if it's in a neighborhood or a farm that you are getting a foothold in, or you already have a part of a foothold, or of course you dominate it. I think that's golden,
Yeah,
especially in the
I
spring
agree.
for sure. Right.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, especially a farm, even more so if you have a geographic area that you're working, like whether you just hit up the people you are in relationship with, or you actually hit, depending on your budget, your section that you work and you door knock consistently. Imagine every house on a street with, the McGowan team. Not that you have the McGowan team anymore, but you know what I mean, like that branding on it. How powerful would that be? That
How
would like,
powerful the social media that gets behind that. You go snap a few pictures. So one of the things the McGowan team used to do was for Canada Day, we go flag everybody's driveway, right? With a little Canadian flag on Canada Day. And we'd have attached to it just underneath just our business card, and we partnered with the local insurance company. So we did it together. So the cost was 50% as was it could be. And people loved it. It was just a stupid little flag like this big, right? And people loved it, and people would share that on social media and all sorts of things. Stuff like that is really powerful, really, really powerful.
it is. And oftentimes it's not the stuff you think of, right? Like it's little things that people get really attached to, and it can be surprising. Even doing contests or giveaways or ticket giveaways and things like that, people get really into it and they really like it, and they follow you on social media and they like your brand and they share and they do all sorts of stuff because that's what people want to do. They want to support you and they want to like you. So circling back to the beginning and like what we should be doing in the summer, plan some stuff for the fall, right? Like start thinking now, what can I do in September, or even like in the next couple of weeks to boost my business for the fall? How do I get people to call me? And how do I get my name out there? And how do I grow my brand a little bit and start to get creative with that? And then tap into your database. Like you can take time off in the summer, enjoy it. This is our downtime as agents for the most part, right? We know that, but it doesn't mean you stop working completely. You're not taking 3 months off. You're just kind of, take your vacation, have maybe less busy days because you're not running with as many buyers or you're not listing as many houses, and use that time to rest and relax, but be strategic the rest of the time.
You asked a question there, and I think we could have a whole conversation around, and that was simply, how do I get people to call me? Right. And we often do stuff or post stuff or send stuff out with the anticipation people are going to call me. But I think if we get real clear or change the question, how is this post? I'm holding a mouse. I don't know what that is. That's a post. There it is. How is this mouse going to make people call me? Right.
Yeah.
And I think if we kind of look at things from that perspective, you know, how is this going to offer value to somebody where they do want to pick up the phone or send a DM or what have you, right? I think if we just kind of change that thinking a little bit, we can
Yeah.
get really purposeful, right, Jen?
Absolutely. And I mean, when you're spending money in your business, there should be a return of some sort, right? Whether it's a relationship return that you've developed a relationship to a higher level, or it's a monetary return, or it's a database growth return, there should be some form of return that you can see. So when you are strategically planning for your business, you know, what sort of return are you looking for? When we do the leaf bags and things like that, it's relationship mainly, but we also know that there's a handful of people in our database that are thinking about doing something in the spring or in the winter. And that little extra touch is going to get them to remember to call us and go, hey, we're thinking about doing this in the winter or in March or whatever. What do we have to start doing? So it's reminding our database that we're their guys, right? And then there's also the element of like, how do you grow your reach as well? So when you are doing these actions, what is that growth going to look like? Is it going to be, are you doing something? Are you requesting that they do something so you get more social media exposure? Is it branding that gets you that additional exposure? Or is it just that you're getting referrals? What does that look like, right? But we don't just pick something out of the air and kind of go, sounds good, let's do it. Like there should be some sort of understanding of what you're looking to get out of it so that we can see, did it work or not work? And then we can make it better because it does take time, right? And it also, you know, it ties into what type of business do you have? Some agents are database focused, relationship focused, referral focused. Some agents are numbers and lead gen focused. And depending on what your business looks like, your actions are going to match that, mirror and match that more, right? So, you know, what we might do as a team that's mainly relationship and database is kind of different than what someone who's a hard door knocker and building their business that way is going to do because we have different approaches, right? So you have to kind of understand that as well, I think, to get the right result.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
Mhm.
as we wrap up, Jen, we should probably talk about a couple of things. And the first thing here, I'm going to see if I can just do this on the fly, and that is, there we go. I'm going to make it a little smaller though. Is we have KW Mega Camp coming up August 23rd to the 26th, and if you're struggling with what to do with your database or how to create a database or what's next for you in the business and how to grow your business, Jen, Mega Camp, which is 100% virtual. It is so user friendly and so much
Mhm.
value coming from top producers right across North America. This is where you want to be. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they cover everything from effective lead gen methods to enhancing your social media, building teams, coaching, mindset, all sorts of stuff. So if you want to learn, like just to piggyback off we were talking about, there's teams in the States that are doing 100, 200, 300 transactions a year, and they're on stage here telling us what they're doing. They're sharing their follow-up campaigns and they're talking about their platforms and their programs, what works, what doesn't. So if you want to learn how to enhance your business, then you got to be at Mega Camp for sure, right? It's just the only place you're going to get that much value from active, successful realtors.
Absolutely, yeah, and just
Mhm.
simply Mega Camp 21. That's all you need to put into Google. It'll take you right there. I should know. I don't. Tickets are around $100, but
Yeah.
we're already signed up and excited to go and attend, and they are fantastic. I know last Mega Camp, which was a year ago, was the first virtual one they ever did. It was the best virtual
Yeah.
workshop, seminar, convention I'd ever been to. Then
Yeah,
we
I
had
agree. It
family.
was
Then
so
we had
good.
family reunion, and that was the best
Yeah.
one. So
Yeah.
this will be another step up. It's just what KW does. They keep building on what they've already built, and it'll be
Yeah.
awesome.
And here's the thing too, because it's virtual, if you can't make the daytime sessions, you can get them later that evening. You can log in and they'll be available for you to watch back. So you don't have to worry about being on that call from 9 to 5 if you're working or you've got the kids or whatever. If you want to watch in the evening, you can do that too. So they're recording all of the sessions or a lot of the sessions and they're available for you to watch. So don't avoid it if you think, oh, I don't have time or I'm bit or like my schedule is full. Even if you get to a third of the content on there, it's well worth that $100, like
Oh my
without
gosh.
without doubt. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And
Hmm.
Jen, the last thing we should mention too, we always talk about this, you and I, and that's the opportunity that, or the different opportunities that Keller Williams has provided both you and I. You with your love and passion for coaching, and how that that showed up, and an opportunity presented itself, and then me in a
Hmm.
sense with different opportunities, whether it been launching my own location to now managing the brokerage, and now what I'm moving into now. And
Hmm.
if you've been listening, you know that I'm moving into a new role, and that's Director of Business Development, which I am incredibly excited about, and looking for opportunities to grow our brokerage, but more importantly, looking for opportunities that's going to add value to our agents, so they can help, so we can support their business.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our newest opportunity, and at Keller Williams Realty Centers, we are looking for the perfect fit for a recruiting manager. So if that's you, or somebody that has that experience and is looking for an opportunity to grow and expand with us, reach out to
Hmm.
Jen or myself. We're happy to have that conversation. And I can tell you, doing it, and Jen and I have been doing it for the last couple of years, it is so rewarding to bring agents into KW, but also provide them with the expertise and the knowledge and the tools and the systems that allows them to grow their business. Right, Jen?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great role in that you get to not only focus on growing the company and recruiting and meeting new agents, but you get to help our existing agents, and then you also get to coach and provide support and opportunity for our agents, for all agents, whether they're KW or not. So, I mean, it's a very unique and very cool role, and we're definitely kind of looking for that perfect person to fill all three of those buckets, right? And I love the transition you're making, Gary, although I love you in the other role as well. But I know that this is going to be, bigger and better things for you, and for the brokerage for that matter, because we get to benefit from that, from your passion for those things. But, I think with the right person in place, it's going to be an amazing team, an amazing environment, and our agents are only going to benefit from it.
And that's just it. We're always looking for ways. We always talk about what's the win-win. And
Yeah.
over the last several years, KW, for both Jen and I, we've been creating win-wins, and it's just one after another, and
Hmm.
creating opportunities not only for ourselves individually, but for our brokerage, right? And that's what
Yeah.
we continue to strive for. And the numbers speak for themselves. In fact, this just came out. I was sharing with Jen just prior, and I think this is really cool to talk about. 899 agents have chosen to join Keller Williams just this year. That is incredible. And we're seeing
Huge.
some tremendous growth numbers, and we're seeing, this is also good. No, this isn't good. What's a better word than good? This is amazing. This is fantastic, Jen. This is where it matters the most. GCI per agent. So if you're an agent listening and you're anywhere in Canada, the GCI, which is gross commission income, Jen, per
Hmm.
agent has gone up year over year 73%.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. So we're closing. Yes,
Mm.
values have gone up, and that it equates to that a little bit.
Hmm.
But more importantly, and I don't have the number here, I should have wrote it down. We're closing more transactions than we ever have before. And that's because of the
Yeah.
agents that we brought on. They're highly productive, and it's a ripple effect right down to the brand new agent and getting them into production. So we're seeing
Hmm.
tremendous growth. If you hear passion coming from me and Jen on this, it's because we are passionate about this, and we're excited to
Yeah.
see the KW growth for sure.
That's such a crazy number. And it's funny, the minute you said it, when you said that 70 percentage in that range, my first thought was like, can't just be the market. Like, I know the market's up, but it can't just be the market for that big of a number, right? So it just goes to speak to the coaching, the support, the training, the retention, the value adds that the agents are getting, and how huge that is in making sure agents are in production at any level, right? From the brand new guys to the seasoned agents that are trying to navigate a new real estate world. It's different than what maybe you were used to a year ago. So, for them to be able to pivot and transition that quickly and see that kind of growth because of it, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really is. Yeah.
It's truly incredible. And we all know, you know, the excitement, the energy that's contagious, but so is
Yeah.
being a top producer. Right. And that just ripples right down. And, you know, there's an interview coming out tomorrow, Red Chair interviews that we've been doing
Yes.
with Vincent Bongard. And
I
I
was gonna
highly,
ask who's next because I loved Mel's and Dylan's was great, of course,
of
but
course.
Mel's
Yeah.
was so good. And I was so excited. So I was like, okay, who's gonna be next? I didn't know if it was Jason or Vincent. So
Yeah.
yes,
So
yeah,
Vincent's his video drops tomorrow, and he talks about the importance of having an office, but more importantly, who's in that office and how that pushes him. And as we said, success breeds success in a sense, and it's contagious. And
yeah,
he's you know, a big advocate of being around other top producers, and that helps him in his
yeah.
business. So tune in and watch that one tomorrow for sure.
I love it. I can't wait to see that.
Very good. Well, Jen, that wraps up another episode of KWRC TV. We're back on. We're taking a little hiatus here throughout the summer, but we are back on for August 31st, so the last day of August. And we'll have lots to talk about because that'll be after Mega Camp. And I'm sure
Yeah.
there's always some great things that get launched and announced at Mega Camp. So we'll have that, which is always great. So for Jen Silbernagel, I'm Gary McGowan. Yes, you can catch us on your favorite podcast player of choice, and we'll see everybody on the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.